wrong. I want to see my child.
By the time Nurse Salome learned how to smile while lying, she had already crossed a line she could never return from. The smile came easily now, soft, practiced, almost holy. It was the kind of smile that reassured frightened women in labor, the kind that said you are safe here. But beneath it lived something else, something hardened and cold, something that no amount of prayer could wash away. Salome worked the night shift at Mercy Dawn Hospital, a modest maternity center perched on the edge of the city. At night, the generators coughed through frequent blackouts, their dull roar echoing through dim corridors. Records were kept in dusty folders stacked on metal shelves, their pages yellowed from years of neglect. It was the kind of place where mistakes disappeared easily, and where secrets stayed buried. Women trusted Salome. They trusted her because she spoke softly, because she held their hands when the contractions became unbearable. They trusted her because she prayed with them before labor, her voice calm and steady as she called them my sister. They trusted her because she wore white. On the surface, Salome was diligent, always the first to respond when a baby's cry pierced the maternity ward. Nurses whispered about her dedication. Doctors nodded in approval. No one questioned why she was always there, always ready, always watching, but those cries never meant joy to her, they meant opportunity. It began with one baby, just one, she told herself. A complication during delivery. A form filled out with a trembling hand. A stillborn certificate signed and stamped while her heart pounded in her chest. The mother was sedated, drifting in and out of consciousness, tears soaking into her pillow as Salome murmured apologies she did not mean. Later, when the ward was quiet, Salome wrapped the tiny body in white cloth and carried it through the back corridor, not toward the morgue, but toward a waiting car parked beyond the hospital gate. She told herself it was a mistake. Just once, just survival, but the men who paid her did not believe in once. They came again, their voices low, their words heavy with promise. They spoke of cleansing, of doors that only innocence could open, of wealth that demanded a terrible price. They never touched the babies themselves. They didn't have to. Salome did the dirty work, night after night. She perfected her script. I'm so sorry, Ma. There were complications. We did everything we could. God gives and God takes. Some mothers screamed until their throats went raw. Some fainted. Others went silent in a way that felt worse than screaming, a hollow stillness that settled deep into their bones. Through it all, Salome stood firm, her face carved into professional sorrow, her hands steady, her voice calm. She learned which babies were safest to take, the ones born to poor women, single women, migrant women, women whose husbands were far away. No questions followed those deaths. No investigations came. Only quiet burials of empty coffins and families left with nothing but unanswered prayers. Hospital records began to show rising infant mortality. The community blamed bad electricity, bad doctors, bad luck. They shook their heads and whispered about fate. No one blamed the nurse who stayed late to comfort the bereaved, until one night, when a woman named Ada refused to sleep. Ada had lost her first child years before, and grief had taught her to listen closely to the world. When Salome returned with the familiar words, I'm sorry, Ada felt something snap inside her. There was nothing wrong, Ada whispered, her voice shaking. I heard my baby cry. Salome smiled gently. Sometimes, Ma. Reflexes, the slap landed before she finished the sentence, the sound echoed through the ward, the room went silent. I want to see my child, Ada said, her eyes burning. Bring my baby. Hospital policy said no. Salome said no. But Ada screamed until doctors rushed in, until patients woke, until the ward filled with light and suspicion and voices that refused to be quiet. That night, the morgue log didn't match the delivery log. That night, a cleaner admitted, hands shaking, that he had seen Salome leave through the back gate with a cooler. That night, the cry Salome thought she had buried finally rose up. The arrest was quiet. No dramatic chase. No resistance. Just the soft click of handcuffs as dawn crept through the hospital windows. turning white walls gold. In court, Salome never cried, but the mothers did. They cried for babies who were never buried, for names that were never spoken, for cradles that stayed empty. When the judge asked Salome why, she finally dropped a smile. They said my life would change. She said. They said I would never be poor again. The judge looked at her for a long moment. Then he asked, and how many lives did you steal to buy that lie? Salome had no answer. Somewhere beyond the prison walls, women still wake in the night, hearing phantom cries, wondering if their children are alive somewhere, or were taken to places no light ever reaches. And Mercy Dawn Hospital no longer allows one nurse to walk alone with a newborn, because evil, once uncovered, never wears white again.